Inspected all the spectres? Hosted all the ghosts? Here's the other games to play if you love Phasmophobia. After discovering that spook hunting is absolutely nothing like Ghostbusters, with no time for wisecracking as you have your head crushed by spectral hands, maybe you feel like playing a different game. But the concept of Phasmophobia is so alluring that you'd probably like more of the same. Whether it's the terror that truly appeals, or working together with friends with a common goal of surviving until the sun comes up, it turns out that there are plenty of other experiences that should meet your spooky approval. Oh, and speaking of approval, if this is your first time on the channel and you enjoy the video, please do subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're always the first to know when a new feature arrives. For now though, here are the best games to play if you love Phasmophobia. Let's be clear about one thing. Bigfoot isn't misunderstood. Bigfoot, or Bigfoots as this multiplayer hunting sim suggests instead of Big Feet, are not just lonely creatures looking for friends in the wilderness. They're hunters, pure and simple, and will hunt you and your friends right back. This is actually an exceptionally similar structure to Phasmophobia. You're grabbing as many tools as possible to go hunting for the abominable snowman in the forest or in the snowy wilderness. You'll position cameras to satisfyingly flick through, arm yourself with tracking bullets to keep an eye on the beast if you're lucky enough to get a shot in, and even steer a drone around the skies to get a bird's eye view. But beware. Everything here wants to kill you. Bears, wolves, you name it. Matt, is that you in the Yeti suit? Come on, be serious. We've got. Oh, never mind. Forget that one of your friends is a murderous monster who wants to hang you all on hooks, and Dead by Daylight is another brilliant, if horrific, teamwork simulator. Just like Phasmophobia, this multiplayer slasher has those moments that can only truly exist in horror movies. Being split up at the last second by a masked maniac, thinking wrongly that it was all going to end in a happily ever after for more than just one blood-drenched survivor. While the concept is simple as you desperately try to restart the generators to open the doors for escape, the perks and abilities at work mean that Dead by Daylight is a constantly evolving terror experience. There's nothing quite like being relentlessly terrified with your mates and running from horror A-listers at the same time. Oh, why can't I just be back in the safety of my ghost hunting truck? At least in games like Dead by Daylight and Friday the 13th, which I'll get onto in a bit, you know who the villain is. Secret Neighbour, the multiplayer side to the creepily compelling Hello Neighbour, has no such niceties. Instead, you team up with some friends to rescue someone who has been kidnapped by the neighbour and hidden in his basement. So far, so heist. Well, it would be if one of your teammates isn't actually the neighbour in disguise, placed purely to separate the team and pick them off. If you're thinking Among Us, you're absolutely not wrong. As you try and reassure your friends, you definitely don't have a bear trap and a smoke bomb to make them disappear permanently before they can even get close to the basement. Whether everyone will find all the keys for the locks before the neighbour picks them all off is where the true horror comes in. Part of the joy of Phasmophobia, if we can call it that, is the sense of companionship and all being in this together. Well, until a ghost locks you in a specific room just to murder you, but we won't talk about that. Yes, companionship. And that's exactly what you get in Friday the 13th, the game. Even if the one thing you share is the fact that you're being pursued by a mask-wearing madman who could punch a hole through your chest and has superpowers to cross large distances in a matter of seconds. But teaming up with fellow counsellors does feel similar to Phasmophobia in many ways, concentrating on one task and desperately trying to find a way out. Maybe you work together to fix the phone and call the police, or maybe, for once, you'll find all of the parts to fix the car. Or perhaps you'll never make it in time and fall victim to horror royalty, like so many before you.
Please no!
Anyone who says they like dolls has to be lying. With those creepy frozen stares and fake humanity, the causes of pediophobia are relentlessly terrifying. Pacify, then, runs with that idea and mixes it up with a J-horror style girl ghost who will only not murder you if you placate her with a doll. Hence, Pacify. But be warned, nothing will pacify you except some fresh air and cartoons after a journey with some friends into this particular haunted mansion. Making sure you're armed with a hideous doll is one thing, but being prepared for this monstrosity to come hurtling out of a door and turning you into a doll is quite another. Even if your miniature form does look pretty funny when they jump. From the developers of Emily Wants to Play, Pacify is tense YouTube nightmare fuel with one simple goal: to make you never want to turn your PC on ever again. Can we just go now, please? Part of the thrill of Phasmophobia is not just the chill of experiencing your own horror story, but going through it with the sounds of your friends' panicked screams in your ears. Sharing is caring after all. Something that the Dark Pictures Anthology is perfect for. While you can play the decision and QTE-based narrative adventures of both Man of Medan and Little Hope alone, it's far more fun to load up the game's movie night mode and share the fun.
Would you kindly come play with me?
While you can obviously pass the controller in other horror games, the Dark Pictures Anthology lets you know exactly when to shift the blame onto someone else. And therefore leave them in charge of the suddenly very defenceless character who'll have all kinds of terrifying last-minute choices to make in a scary movie that has every chance of murdering them before the credits roll. Good luck.
It's amateur hour over here.
Fliss, I got this. Let me handle it.
Given that it is possible to lone wolf some of the earlier hauntings in Phasmophobia, it's entirely plausible that you love the game for that hit of adrenaline you get as an individual ghost hunter against the world. In which case, Layers of Fear's expertly haunted mansion should be right up your clearly possessed alley. There aren't quite your standard poltergeists or ghouls, but nonetheless the horrific goings-on in a twisted painter's house should definitely give you a similar hit of unexpected fear. There's a distinct ghost train vibe to these proceedings, but it means, just like Disney's Haunted Mansion ride that spins you in the right direction, you see exactly what Bloober Team wants you to. Whether it's terrifying playrooms or just corridors that won't behave when you want them to, Layers of Fear manages a short, sharp shock of a haunting. As much as I despise the idea of Matt being necessary for anything, it turns out that when it comes to We Were Here Together, the key is very much in the name. You need an online friend with a microphone and the game to actually experience this brilliant adventure. The third in the We Were Here series, all of which depend on two players communicating successfully, this drops you both into an Antarctic exploration mission gone wrong, as a distress flare indicates someone in need of rescue. Then, of course, you're separated from your partner and forced to explore a medieval castle of puzzles that require you to actually be able to describe your surroundings to your partner through a handy walkie-talkie. It's not as Don't Make Me Go In There scary as Phasmophobia, but there's a distinct sense of unease amidst these walls, and innovative brain teasers to test your shared grey matter. Remember, it's good to talk, even when it's Matt.
What have you done?
I said just from disaster. He has made himself eternal, and hopefully shattering the dagger will contain his curse.
Finally, if hunting spooks is the thing you love most about Phasmophobia, Ghostbusters the video game is like loading up Doom Eternal after 10 hours spent cowering in Amnesia Rebirth. That's right, spirits trapped on the astral plane, it's payback time. You can still get slimed, and Mr. Stay Puffed is enough to put you off s'mores for life, but you feel powerful here, thanks to your selection of snazzy parapsychological doodads and fizzy proton streams.
Oh, and you've got to be very careful about crossing the streams. In a word, don't do it.
Seriously.
Stings like the dickens, too.
You're a ruthlessly effective form of pest control, rather than a potential victim who can be reduced to hysterics by a locked door. It's also a rich single-player experience, perfect for anyone brave enough to play Phasmophobia on their own. We can't imagine who you are, but we know you're out there. The only problem is, you'll never be able to look at the equipment in Phasmophobia again without using its Ghostbusters name. It's a PKE meter.
See? That's a big wow. I'll teach that pitiful goop sack to slime, Pete Venkman. And by extension, you.
So that's the spooktacular and stressful games you need to play if you want more games like Phasmophobia. Let us know your scary suggestions in the comments below, drop us a sheet-clad thumbs up, and subscribe to Logitech G, no, it doesn't stand for ghosts, for more videos just like this one. If you do already subscribe, ring that spirit bell so you know when our next video floats into view.